Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. I Yesterday I started the chapter 2 stories about flying and I have discussed about the very first story of this and that title was His First Flight. I explained to you about the author and the summary of the chapter and I promised you that I will provide you the major character sketches of this chapter and the key points. So the major character sketch of this chapter is the very first is the mother seagull and the second is the young seagull. This story is about young seagull and what the young seagull did, it just became possible just because of his mother. So both character sketches are most important for the perception of the board examinations. So let's start. The very first I will tell you the character sketch of the mother seagull. So let's see. The mother seagull comes across as a wise and caring mother. A young seagull that cannot fly will not survive for long, so she is tough for her child but motivates him when he is afraid. She wants him to get over his fear and take off from the cliff, and she tries every trick. At first, she calls to him shrilly, upbraiding him and threatening to let him starve if he does not fly. But when he is unable to move, she leaves him alone for 24 hours. She ignores him when he tries to pretend to be asleep, yet is watchful. Then she tempts him by tearing a piece of fish now and then, but does not give it when he pleaded with her for food. But her maternal instincts take over and she comes closer to him, dangling a piece of fish from her beak, hoping that he would make a dive for it. She has the wisdom to know that once he was in the air, his wings would spread out and support him. Just as she expected, the young seagull dives for the fish. Thus, she helps him get over the fear of flying and gives him his wings. So, in indirect way, his mother supported him completely, and just because of his mother, it was possible to him to fly. Now I will see the character sketch of the young seagull. So at the time of the young seagull, so the young seagull is just ready for his first flight, but he lacks of courage to attempt to make a flight. His brothers and sister had wings that were shorter than his, but they had flown out. He is so afraid that even when he was left alone, he prepares to stay on the ledge, then follow his family to the opposite cliff. He is intelligent enough to know that his parents cared for him, and to attract their attention, he pretended to fall asleep at the edge of the ledge. When this does not happen, he resorts to pleading with his mother for the food. Eventually, the need for food makes him take the plunge. His mother's restless efforts pay off when he dives for the food, but the very next moment, a monstrous terror seizes him and his heart stands still. But the very next moment, he feels his wings spread outwards. He was finally flying and was no longer afraid. If I will so this was the character sketch of the young seagull. If I will talk about the key points, so there are several key points in it, and through this story what the author want to convey the message. So let's see the young seagull's fear of flying and how his mother helps him overcome it is the crux of the story. A flightless seagull will not survive for long out in the open, and it is very important for them to learn how to fly. The family of seagulls reminds us of any other human family where parents scold kids when they do not do what they are supposed to do. The young seagull, like most human kids, has siblings who are better and faster than him, and the expectation of parents weighs down on him heavily, and his fear just makes matter worse. The mother gull was wise and knew exactly how to help him. She knew that he was hungry, and she taunted him with food and flew up to him, but stayed far away for him to have to make a dive for it. The fall was scary, but he regained his composure and soon forget that there was even a time when he could not fly. So these were the key points, and or we can say these were the lessons which we can take from this chapter, and this was the moral of the story. Just because the writer wrote this story and it is included in your syllabus, it is also the very important story of your syllabus. So if you I hope that you have understood this story completely, but if you have any kind of queries or problem, so you can ask, definitely I will help you. Till then, thank you.